It is time to get uplifted. I'm Allison Seymour. I just want to start by saying Happy New Year. Another year has come and gone. I can hardly believe it. 2025, it was a roller coaster ride to say the least, filled with unexpected challenges, uncontrollable laughter though, and heartwarming moments that remind us what truly matters. So, during this very special episode of Get Uplifted, we are taking a look back at the people, the businesses, and the moments that made us smile. Well, most of us adults, we don't play enough. And that's why one of my favorite Get Uplifted episodes was when we hosted our very own version of the Food Network's Halloween Wars. Two teams, each comprising of a local baker and a crafter, worked together to make a display themed around monsters on the National Mall. Here's what they came up with. Let me divide this time up and talk to team one once again. You guys are looking really good. I want to make sure that we talk about all the details here.
Yeah.
So what did I miss, ladies, as far as what is in the details here? Like I see this eyeball.
Talk about your eyeball.
It's edible.
No, we're not going to eat that.
You don't want to eat the eyeball?
I don't. Tell me about it.
I do.
Okay,
I want to eat it.
So that's actually hand painted with food coloring.
Okay.
And it's actually fondant and it's splattered with edible blood.
Right.
So
you really do like Halloween.
I do.
Yeah.
I like dressing up.
Yeah. Okay.
And all things gory.
Yes. I love that. All righty. You know what? Will this be on display? Like, this should be on display afterwards, after we eat all the candy.
I was going to say, well, I mean, so maybe some pieces we can like bring back to Mary Penn, but I mean, my favorite part is the reflecting pool with the Kraken legs.
Right.
So that's, we're going to eat that.
Okay.
I'm going to eat that all up.
What made it shiny and like it was moving? Like
Oh,
with the
okay.
splash?
So that's piping gel.
Okay.
So it's,
yeah.
So
right.
it's edible also.
Okay.
And it can make really cool colors. Like if you put like something darker under, then it makes it look like it's deeper.
Right.
But because we know the reflecting pool is shallow, so we try
Right.
to do it a little lighter. And then to give it the movement, we just took a little bit of buttercream and kind of made the waves in, and it kind of looks like the Kraken is pushing it out.
You might want to have Tiffany come over to the Mary Penn and do some work. She's a
I
crafter.
know.
She is a crafter. All right, so let's go on over and get the finishing touches now. I didn't see the little dog here, so I'm going to walk over.
Yes.
All right, so you got only a couple minutes left. Let's walk through it. I'm sorry, I know I'm off camera, but all right. So this is her tiny dog. Right
Yes, so she's giving definitely rich auntie vibes.
Yes.
She's got her crafting cart. She does this, you know, in her spare time. We've got the little dog here for scale, because as you can see, she's as tall
she's big
as the monument,
yeah,
just for
alright.
scale. So,
Okay.
but she still, you know, rich auntie vibes, still has the little purse puppy to go with her everywhere.
And I love this, the details on here with the DC flag
Yes,
and
she's got to
everything.
represent
She's a girly.
DC girl,
Yeah.
native.
Okay,
native
she's a
to
native
be-
Washingtonian.
Native Washingtonian.
She's got a backstory. Okay, right, absolutely. All righty. And again, she's selling, like the detail in here, we see it. You guys are amazing. The detail and all of the little things that she's vending. Oh, she
Yes.
has a vegan, gluten-friendly cupcake as well.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So she has vegan and
Okay.
gluten-friendly cupcakes because, you know, everybody's included. We don't leave anybody out.
Wow. Thanks, ladies. That was such a fun episode. And look, we are so thankful and grateful that many of you share your incredible talents with us here on Get Uplifted. And some of our coolest moments included learning how to make transfers on charcuterie boards with the owner of CO Ceramics, Makeda Smith. Seeing local artist Astrid Ketchum's fake cakes. These cakes are fabulous. She makes these out of spackle to raise awareness about femininity. And talking to the legendary pumpkin carver, Susie Mink. She carved dozens of designs, including our local monuments, memorials, and athletes. And Susie even carved my face on a pumpkin during our other Halloween episode. Now, that's not me. Let's take a look.
So what I do is I outline all the moving pieces, like right here, where it's supposed to be lighter. I'll outline that, and then I'll work on the eyes and mouth first, and then I'll work on the remainder. And you see this is still fairly rough, but that's what I'll do.
Okay.
I'll get the hard parts out of the way.
Who's been the hardest? I would think with someone as iconic as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who had all the seasoned lines and the wisdom in her face. That might have been hard to capture.
I think she was easy because it was the emotion of the moment.
Okay.
Jane Goodall was really hard.
Okay.
I did one that I didn't like.
Right.
And then finally landed on one I sort of liked.
Yes.
But she was really hard.
Okay. And you have Jane Goodall on this. Now,
Yep.
Susie, are we ready to show? Like, can we show Jane first?
Sure. Let me just do a little polish.
Okay. Just doing a
'cause
polish.
you know.
And what you're about to see is the artwork of Susie doing these amazing pumpkin carvings with such realistic portraits, really. And the one that she's been working on, that's of yours truly. But we wanted to start with Jane Goodall. So if we could dim the lights, and there it is. Incredible. Rest in peace, Jane
the other one
Goodall.
when you talked about some lessons for pumpkin carvers,
Yes.
you have more than one surface to work with.
Right, because
So-
often we're like, this is it.
This
Okay,
is it.
now, this is the moment that I have been waiting for to show you this beautiful, beautiful carving. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Allison Seymour on a pumpkin. Is that the best thing ever? Look at how white my teeth are. I appreciate that. I didn't have to get teeth whitening for this portrait. Susie, you are amazing. And my goal for 2026 to have teeth as white as pumpkin Allison. All right, now we want to highlight the women from Australia that many people in the junk journaling community say inspired them to start this hobby. So junk journaling is similar to scrapbooking, but journalers put everyday objects like napkins, ticket stubs, and receipts into their journals. A couple of months ago, Martina was on tour to promote her brand new book, A Year of Junk Journaling. It features 52 creative prompts to help inspire artistic processes in all of us. Now, sadly, she did not stop in the DMV, but she did host a nearby event in New York City. I had the chance to catch up with Martina before she started her book tour about the impact she's making in the junk journaling community. Here's that conversation. You've always been a journaler. When did you decide to take it to this other level?
I've always been a journaler for sure. I started when I was 8 years old, and my mum gave me a travel journal for our trip abroad, and it's just something I've done ever since. But it's funny, the thing that you think is quite normal and mundane, maybe about yourself, is something that actually really resonates with a lot of people. So a few years ago, I started just sharing my pages on Instagram, and it was just part of my day to day, and it just stuck, and people started, I guess, seeing me as this scrapbook girl when I started blowing up on Pinterest and Instagram.
So, what do you think the impact has been on people? Because for us, if you're saving a ticket stub, like I have a ticket stub from a Michael Jackson concert I saw in 1983, like a Prince thing, what do you think is the appeal for that? What impact does it have on people really when they share these events in their life?
I guess it's just I think a lot of us are sentimental, and I think a lot of us have that shoebox under our bed filled
Yeah.
with tickets and photos and little bits that we've collected, like little bowerbirds. But there's something about actually turning that into art and taking time to really go through these memories and hold them, paste them in a journal. And it doesn't have to look pretty, but it's something about just the act of doing it that just romanticizes it even further and allows us to have that slow moment, I think.
Right, right. And how would you say that this artwork, that's what I'm going to call it, or this form of art has grown and changed for you over the years?
The style has definitely evolved, and the contents definitely. My journals when I was 8 years old had Lizzie McGuire stickers and Kim Possible, which reveals my age and generation. And
Yeah.
now it might be, I mean, there's less concert tickets, I have to say that, because we don't seem to get physical paper tickets anymore. And
Right.
now I feel like I have to ask for them, especially, and say, I want them for my journal.
Yes. Okay. Well, I have a drawer full of them if you ever need any from the U.S. So this extends way beyond where you're joining us from in Sydney. It's really formed communities around the world and different clubs and people doing this. When you think of that or your impact, how does that make you feel?
I never could have expected it to go as far as it has gone. I'd never expected that sharing my journals would inspire and spark so much community. I think people are really craving that real life connection, and junk journaling is such an easy, low cost activity that can just bring you and your girlfriends together, and such a fun activity to do, even with strangers, because you have this icebreaker, which is that you enjoy craft and stickers and there's something to talk about. But now there's hundreds of junk journal clubs around the world. I get people messaging me from Panama, from Bahrain, from
Yeah.
every
Wow.
state in the US saying,
Yeah.
I've started a little junk journal club and thank you so much for inspiring that. And yeah, it's amazing to know that the impact has gone beyond online.
Do you still host? Do you still host any? I know you have in the past.
Yes, yeah, I do.
Mhm.
So I'm about to go on my book tour, which is really just an excuse to do a whole bunch of crafty events and
Yeah.
go visit my community around the world.
And you've actually launched 2 books. Can you tell us about those?
Yes. So my first book is The Art of Memory Collecting, which is 15 different craft projects for turning your memories into art, like memory boxes, scrapbooks.
Mhm.
And then my second book, which just came out, is A Year of Junk Journaling. And that is a whole year's worth of prompts and inspiration for your junk journal.
Oh my God, I am definitely a fan. I'm telling you, I have diaries from when I was young with roses pressed in them, and you're like, what am I going to do with all
Wow.
of this? So I'm just really excited. But I would be beginning. So what is the advice for a beginner? How do we even start doing this?
A beginner junk journaler, I would just say start with what you have. I think we all have little bits and pieces that
Hmm.
we've collected, and if you don't, then start collecting. And
Yeah.
I think there's so much beauty in just starting to look at life that way, looking for
Mhm.
little souvenirs from your daily moments.
You have a fan here in Washington, D.C. That's me. And I'm going to start, and I can't wait. What a fun conversation all the way from Australia. Turning back to our area now, though, Solid State Books is helping many of you find your crafting community. The DC bookstore chain hosts weekly club meetings for people who crochet or knit. And I spoke to the founder of Knits and Yarns. Her name was Cromiclia Bryant, about what inspired her to start this club.
I started it because I wanted to be held accountable. Knitting alone at home is challenging sometimes because you can easily be like, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time to do this. But if you know that you're going to be somewhere, you want to work on your project so next time they come, you're further along. So it's kind of like accountability. But also community, because being around people who have skills that you don't have or have knitted or crocheted much longer than you can ask them for advice and get that support.
Take us into what a typical meetup is like.
Well, when we first started out, we only had 8 people, and they were all older ladies. And then after the pandemic, when we got back together again, we had grown past 20, and the age was much younger. And so it's a pretty boisterous group. They're drinking wine or coffee beverages, and it's very loud.
I love that. Tell me so there's a book component to this too, right?
It's supposed to be like we talk about the books that we're reading, but honestly these days we're talking about what's going on and how our lives are.
That's so interesting. So again, community, it almost becomes just like a friendship circle. Am I going too far by saying that?
No, because I think that a lot of people do meet outside of the group. And we even once before went to the Maryland Sheep Show as a group. So
okay, I love that. Tell me, I guess, about what impact you think it does have on people when they come through.
I think that it makes them, for some people, it's less lonely. A lot of people do bring their friends, and so they continue to grow their friend group. But the people that are kind of a little bit loners, it's more of a community and more support.
So if you're watching and you're interested, even at whatever level, how do you come and get involved?
Actually, so at our H Street Northeast location, we meet on Thursday nights from 6 to 8.
Oh,
And then at our other new location on 14th Street, they meet on Tuesdays.
Okay. And is there a website, an email, or just show up?
Just show up.
Well, your hair is your crown, and it deserves to shine. Coming up, 2 curly hair influencers share their secrets to achieving flawless coils. Now, let's rewind to cherry blossom season here in the nation's capital. Anna August was named the official artist of last year's Cherry Blossom Festival. The Jamaican native created this vibrant painting showing both our cherry blossoms and monuments. A few months later, around Mother's Day or so, we asked Anna to create a painting for us that symbolized the impact of our mothers. Here's what she created.
This is a painting I created for Mother's Day. I wanted it to capture, you know, the strength of motherhood, but also the grace that they do it with. I made this painting with 5 little ducklings because I'm the youngest of 5. And I feel like my mom sacrificed so much for us to have the life that we have now. And I wanted this to be an ode to her and a tribute to her.
I love it so much. The youngest of 5, my goodness. And you're the baby, how sweet. Can you talk a little bit just about, you hit on it, but about that relationship with your mother, how it's been impactful in your artwork?
So my mom is like my biggest supporter. She's always trumping me on. She's always supporting me ever since I was younger. My mom would always come home with like little boxes of crayons and stuff. And that sounds small, but in Jamaica growing up, that's like a treasure. Not every little kid has crayons. I used to make my paint with rose petals. That's how rare it is.
Wow. Okay.
To have like kind of materials and stuff. And you know how you mentioned your mom collects your art and they put it on the fridge, but my mom went a step beyond that. She'd always encourage me to keep that creativity and like the childlike love for my art that I've always had since I was younger. So she encouraged me to, you know, stick with that and keep that.
And just like Anna mentioned, our parents often help us become the best versions of ourselves. And we saw this when high school student Jack Bowerman asked his father if they could run 260 miles, if they could run it from New York to DC's Capitol Hill, all to raise awareness about paying people with disabilities equal wages. The two spent 10 days in April completing Jack's mission. They raised $100,000 for the cause and helped get this legislation reintroduced in Congress. I caught up with Jack and Brett to find out what inspired them to make this journey from New York and what they hope to accomplish next.
I would say the why for me is I have a sister named Ellie who has Down syndrome. And ever since I've been young, I've been trying to help her get the same opportunities and resources as everyone else to succeed in life.
That's incredible. So, Jack, you and Dad ran, laced up your sneakers. I don't know how many pair you go through for that. And you run from New York to DC. At first, I just got to ask you the physicality of it all. What was that like?
It was brutal. I mean, we both had to like train for like 3 months. So ever since, what was that, like January? I think January, February, we started running. I was running like 6 days a week. So that was mentally and physically draining, but honestly, that helped a lot. I mean, even on the run, I mean, the weather conditions were terrible. We first started the first 2 days, it was like 40 and pouring rain, then went to like 50 degrees and like 20-mile-per-hour headwinds, and then it was just we had to like go through some like heat waves and all that. So it was pretty bad.
Brett, what about what you saw on the way, the support on the way? Was there ever a time that you thought, you know, it's okay, son, you know, we tried to do it, the message is out, let's just turn around and go home? Was there ever that moment?
No, never. Actually, we said beforehand, I'm like, we need to make sure, I want to make sure you're committed. We need to both be signing up. We're raising a lot of money. People are counting on us, and we have to finish this. And I think it was that sort of mentality that it was our job. You get up and you go run, and we get it done, and day by day. And trust me, there wasn't moments where I think we all doubted. We got injured. You know, Jack got attacked by a Canadian goose at one point. It was actually really scary. I got hit by a car at one point. So there's multiple, got flipped up on someone's hood.
Oh boy.
Like, but we just pushed through, you know, there's like failure is not an option on this one.
And thankfully you made it. The run is over. So now if we could just talk about more of the why as far as what you're hoping comes from this. Brett, I'll ask you, what is that piece of, is it legislation? Is it awareness in Congress? What is the big reason here?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it has to do with having equal rights in the workforce for people with disabilities. And the backstory is almost 100 years ago when FDR was president and came out with a New Deal, they provided for a law that people with disabilities could be paid less than federal minimum wage. And it was designed to promote employment for people whose productivity might be less, or at least the perception was that it might be less. But it was supposed to be used to drive education and training and continual improvement for that same workforce. But nearly 100 years later, we're not further advanced. It did not live up to its promise. And frankly, in a world where people with disabilities are educated in inclusive environments, they have more education, there's more assistive technologies, we're a more progressive and inclusive society, it's just time for a change. And so what it does, it simply eliminates the ability for employers to pay people less than minimum wage. That's it. And so there are, over 100,000 people that are paid like on average, $3 an hour. We just don't think it's right. Like, this is 2025. Like, it's just time for a change. And just symbolically, I think from an awareness standpoint, it's just really important. So this bill was introduced almost 6 years ago, and it has bipartisan support. It's close to getting through. We just need that final push to get it across the finish line.
What do you hope to do, after this is over? How much will you dedicate to really just trying to work to advocate for everyone, so everyone can have just a better life? I just want to give you the last word.
That's for me.
Not for you.
That's for you, Jack.
Okay. Let me think.
What's the big hope here? What's the big goal?
Honestly, the big hope is I like to rephrase what my dad said. Like, I hope that everyone just understands that everyone deserves an equal playing field to try to go after their passions and try to gain the same opportunities as everyone else. I feel like everyone deserves that, and it's just sad to me that some people don't get that same opportunity as everyone else.
Way to go, guys. And speaking of young adults like Jack making powerful impacts, I want to tell you about Chelsea Chambers. Chelsea was crowned Miss District of Columbia Teen USA earlier last year. Now, I talked with the Howard University students about the reaction that she is getting from little girls especially. Let's listen to that.
A lot of times the little girls say, oh my God, it's a princess, but I really want them to know that they can be here too. That's really why I'm here as a Black woman. It's so important that young girls, especially in the district, see themselves in my shoes. And so it's such an amazing experience. I get to go to schools, and having them run up to me and give me a hug really makes my day.
My goodness, Chelsea is flawless, right? And we all strive to look pageant ready. And we know getting our hair cut is just half the battle. To have a good hair day, it takes time, the right product, and oftentimes a whole lot of trial and error. And many women with textured hair have formed communities on TikTok to share their hair journey, their tips, and also favorite products. Ashley Lamaraca and Julia Nielsen are two of the most popular curly hair girl influencers on TikTok. Ashley has over 2 million followers, and Julia has over 600,000 followers. So I talked to them about the impact they're making online. Ashley, let's just start with you. You've posted hundreds of videos showing both the highs and the lows of the curly hair journey. So how has your role, do you think, as a curly girl influencer taught you more about your own hair?
It taught me you can't fight it, and we have to embrace it instead. You can't control the weather, you can't control the humidity, and I learned to perform these trial and error methods to figure out what works best for me on that specific day. And all these years of straightening it day after day and trying to fight it, this journey taught me to embrace it instead.
Wow. Julia, how about you?
Curly hair is truly a battle, but it's also such a beautiful thing. And it's taught me that your hair always changes compared to when I first started my account versus now. My pattern has changed. I've changed as a person. I'm in my early 20s, so I've been growing into adulthood, and my hair has changed with that. And it's really taught me to just embrace the change and learn with it. And having an online community that also is going through that change, it's so beautiful. Right. It's really nice to experience that with everybody.
Actually, and everything is for both of you because we want to hear from both of you, but why did you start your hair journey? Was it out of frustration, or just wanted to share, or you found a good product? What was it that started you, Ashley, on this journey?
Well, for me, my mom actually has all naturally curly hair, and ever since I was a little girl, she would help me teach me her ways and her tricks. But I did always try to fight it, and I would wake up super early for school, and everything in between, my hair was straight just to make my life easier. And once I learned the importance of reducing heat on your hair and really try to grow my hair and keep it healthy, I had no choice but to embrace it. And
Right.
once I found a routine that actually worked, after years of trying to find one, I had to share it with as many people as I possibly could in hopes of it resonating even with just one person, because I've been there and I know the feeling.
Right. Same for you, Julia, or a different story?
Very similar, actually. My mom also has curly hair, and I grew up with curly hair products in the house, and I love my big frizzy curls, and I always love to embrace that. So I started my journey online to really help share that with other people, because frizzy hair is beautiful. You don't have to have perfect curls, and I'm so grateful to have a mom who really taught me to embrace that, and I wanted to share that love with other people as well.
You know, I got to ask, it's not like you want what you don't have oftentimes. And so I know even with my girls, like they wanted their hair to be blown out. They didn't want the curls and all of this. Do you feel like you have empowered your viewers to maybe rock their hair naturally? Or how does that play out? Ashley, I'll ask you that question.
No, for sure. It brings me joy that I'm able to help or inspire even just one of my followers in a positive way. And with social media, it's so easy to feel down on yourself and comparison. So if I'm helping change that narrative, it feels amazing. And it's helped instill confidence back into myself as well through sharing online and building this community and having it resonate with even just one of my followers.
Well, I mean, we wish you just continued success, both of you. Before I let you go, in like the seconds we have left, favorite either tip or product for our curly hair girls out there? Julia, I'll ask you.
Sure. My two favorite things, my community definitely knows I love these, is the Lush Curl Power Cream is my go-to curly hair cream. I've been using it for years. My friend recommended it to me. It is so awesome. You can use it for so many different curl patterns. Truly awesome. And I love steam refreshing. It's one of my favorite tips and tricks. And you basically just take a steamer in the morning when your hair is a little bit frizzy after sleeping, and you scrunch it in. It works for a lot more people than they would think. And I loved it. That's what I did this morning, and I got great results.
I love it. Ashley, 2 seconds. Do you have a tip or a product?
My tip is basically overall, there's a product for everybody's budget. So try not to get intimidated with price ranges and all these different stores and whatnot, but it's about the application and it's about the tricks, and really, really trial and error is my biggest advice. And there's a product for everyone. Just keep sticking with it and see what works for you.
So much fun talking to those ladies. Well, we know being a girl isn't always fun and games, especially if you don't have access to period products and supportive clothing like bras. DC's National Women in the Arts Museum is helping lessen that hardship. At the beginning of last year, they partnered with the DMV-based nonprofit called I Support the Girls to host a drive. The museum collected period products and bras, and then ISTG, I Support the Girls, distributed them to women and girls experiencing homelessness. The museum's director of public programs, Kelly Daly, explains the reaction from the community.
We collected about 5 bins worth of product. I Support the Girls brought out their incredible team. Their executive director, Dana Marlowe, was there, who gave a beautiful gallery talk about the organization's beginnings. And they also brought their Vangina and parked it out front for pictures, which was incredible.
Thank goodness for so many organizations doing such great work. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And you can get your daily dose of Get Uplifted every morning in our 5 a.m. hour on WUSA 9 Mornings. And you can also find these stories on our website and our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Stay uplifted.